Well, it's that time of year again when we all get to experience the joy of paying taxes. But if you're like most people, you've probably been wondering if there's ways to somehow pay less in taxes. Well, stick around because I'm going to show you how anyone can make up to $40,000 per year completely tax-free. And by the way, it's completely legal. I'll just touch up real quick. Oh my gosh. Oh, I haven't looked at myself in a mirror in so long. Oh my word, I need a haircut. I look like a Sasquatch. I gotta fix this. If only it were as easy as just snapping my fingers. Nice. All right, much better. In the past, talking to different people about investing, I keep hearing the same reoccurring comment. And that's that oftentimes the hardest part about investing is figuring out how to pay less in taxes. Because short-term capital gains tax can actually be really quite high and can offset even small gains that you might make for investing. And this can be really off-putting, especially if you're just getting started. Now, even if you don't have magical powers like I do, and you can just snap your fingers and make things so, you can still make money through investing and pay zero in taxes. And like I mentioned, it's completely legal. And believe me, even with my magical powers, I've tried to snap away my taxes.
Dang it!
And it does not work. You want to know how to not pay taxes? It's simple. I make no money, therefore I pay no taxes. And people call me a loser. That's not a good idea. Now, there are several ways that you can invest and make tax-free money. However, most of these ways are through retirement accounts like a Roth IRA account, for an example. Now, you can make tax-free income through these kinds of accounts, but most of the time you have to wait until retirement age to withdraw any of the gains. Otherwise, you have to pay taxes. For this video, we're going to focus on completely tax-free income that you can make at any age or any station in your life, and that is through qualified dividends. Now, dividend income is taxable, but it's taxable in different ways depending on if it's a qualified or an unqualified dividend, which we're going to get into now. Now, for this, I need my laptop to look at my notes. Okay, so a qualified dividend is taxed at the lower long-term capital gains rate instead of the higher tax rate used on an individual's regular income. Now, to be eligible for this special tax rate, a dividend must be paid by a U.S. company, a company in U.S. possession, a foreign company residing in a country that is eligible for benefits under a U.S. tax treaty, or a foreign company's stock that can be easily traded on a U.S. stock market. Whew, that's a mouthful. Hey, you should definitely subscribe to this loser's channel. He really needs the help. In addition to this, these dividends must also meet holding period requirements.
So the stock must have been held in excess of 60 days during the 121 period beginning 60 days before the ex-dividend date. In the case of a preferred stock, the stock must be held in excess of 90 days during the 181-day period beginning 90 days before the ex-dividend date. If the dividends are due in a period of time longer than 366 days.
In other words, these stocks would be ones that you would buy and hold for many years, not stocks that you would buy and hold for a few weeks or a month and then sell. Whew, after all that, I could really use a cup of coffee. That's much better. So obviously you can see that making sure that the dividend income that you make is from qualified dividends is an essential part of making tax-free income. Now, let's get into the tax rates because like normal income, the rates vary depending on how much you make. However, it is possible to pay 0% in taxes on dividends up to a certain point. Alright, despite the fact that I do have magical snapping powers, I am not a robot or a calculator, and I'm going to need my notes for this next bit of information because I can't remember all the tax rates. Okay, so qualified dividends are tax-free for individuals in the 10% and 12% tax brackets, or those earning up to $40,000 per year. Or for married couples filing jointly, up to $80,000 per year. For individuals in the 22, 24, 32, and 35% tax brackets, dividends receive a 15% tax rate. Now, dividends are taxed at a 20% tax rate for individuals whose income exceeds $488,000 annually, or those who fall into the 35 or 37% tax brackets. Non-qualified dividends, however, or dividends that do not meet these requirements, are treated as short-term capital gains and are taxed at an individual's regular tax rates. Now, to state that simply, you can make up to $40,000 per year from qualified dividends as an individual, or $80,000 as a married couple filing jointly, or $53,600 as a head of household, completely tax-free. Boom! So that's pretty cool, right? But there's a catch. How much money would you really have to have invested in order to make $40,000 per year in dividends? That's an interesting question. Well, most companies will pay out a good dividend rate of 3.5% to 4%, and that's really, really good. Now let's assume that you get about 4% of your total investment back in dividends. That would mean in order to make $40,000 a year, you would have to have, wait for it, $1 million invested. And I know what you're probably thinking. I don't have $1 million, $40,000 a year. Yeah, right. Are you kidding me? $1 million? Who has $1 million laying around to make tax-free income? That's ridiculous. Now, obviously, if it was just that easy to make $40,000 a year completely tax-free, everyone would be doing it. So you knew that there was some reason why everyone didn't do it. And though to make that much money, you would have to have $1 million invested normally, you can start investing incredibly easy and making dividends. And with companies like M1 Finance or Betterment, which are great robo-advisors, by the way, check out this video if you're interested, you can start investing in dividends really easily and with a low amount of money. Now, in my first 8 months investing with Betterment with only $6,000, I made $124 in dividends from doing nothing. And that's kind of like putting my money to work for me so that I don't have to work. And even when I'm not working, I can make money. And that is the power of dividends. Now, obviously, you can't build up a portfolio of $1 million overnight. It takes time, years in fact, or even decades. But even starting small, those dividends compound, and before you know it, you can actually make a really sizable amount from dividends that can help pay bills, or again, go back and compound, and then years later, you'll be able to retire on it. But the huge benefit to be able to make tax-free income from dividends is that unlike a Roth IRA account where you can't really retire on it until you reach retirement age, with dividends, if you're able to build up a big enough portfolio to pay you enough dividends to retire on, you could retire at any age and not pay any taxes. And this is a really cool investing strategy. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful and informative. Make sure and put a comment down below and tell me what you think about investing with dividends. Do you do it? Do you not? How do you like to invest? I'd love to hear from you. Also, make sure and smash the like button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and I would really appreciate it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.